All righty. Well, thank you guys for coming again. Hopefully we'll kind of get into some more interesting things and actually start doing some fun stuff. Just to recap from yesterday or from last Tuesday, the previous Tuesday, we covered the basics of R, including its syntax. We talked about variables, data structures, such as vectors and data frames, and also the essentials of the packages to use. So now it's finally time to put this knowledge into practice, working with the data set that I emailed everybody. Hopefully you have that all downloaded into a file where you can access it. So last week we left off also trying to set our working directory. So we're going to do that again today. We can do it either before or after installing packages. Usually I'm installing packages first, but let's just go ahead. So if you guys want to try to do that again, I usually just go to session, set working directory, choose your directory. It's going to pop up. You can navigate through your documents, and then I'm going to find the folder that has my Excel sheet in there. And I'm just choosing the folder now. So I'm just going to open that folder. Copy and paste that line of code that pops out at the bottom. That way you have everything exactly where it needs to be. Like I said, having any type of typos can really mess you up. So I do a lot of copying and pasting. So while you guys are also trying to get that set your working directory, we can do that a few different ways too. If you want to just go into your file explorer, you can navigate through to your documents, find your folder there. And once you find where you need, you can also, copy and select your address bar up here on the top. It should be the same as that set working directory, with the exception that our backslashes need to be changed to forward slashes. Also, you can highlight the one that you want, and you can actually go up here and click copy path. That's also going to click or copy your file path to your clipboard. So you can kind of go down and then just paste that with Control V as well. Okay, does everybody have their working directory set? Okay, and so then just a reminder, mainly we're going to use these two packages, library read Excel, or the packages read Excel and tidyverse. If you have not already installed them, once again, you can double check by looking in your packages pane here and navigating through to make sure you have them downloaded. And then we need to load them into our current session. And you can also double check that by seeing the tick marks there. So if it has a tick mark, it is loaded and ready to use in our current session. You cannot capitalize. Everything is case sensitive. That's a good reminder. Mike just mentioned you cannot capitalize library. It senses that as something different. So be mindful of capital letters. There we go, read Excel. Hey, where am I? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you only need to install things once. Until you update.
Yeah.
I don't want to say within a session. You don't, but.
So, okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and start typing in this code. So now that we have our working directory, where our data set is located, we can now create a data frame. And I am calling this data frame assay. These are some soil assays I just conducted the other week. Actually, I should say James accomplished. So I'm going to call this assay. I'm going to bring in the read Excel argument. And we are going to type our name of our file, our name of our Excel sheet. So the name of the Excel sheet was the 2024 O2 data set. Make sure that you have those in quotations. Oh, shoot. And also we're going to add another parentheses there because we're also going to designate that we want to read the sheet named soil assay. That's how you can make sure that you're getting the exact sheet that you want. And a lot of times my Excel sheets have many sheets. Okay. Actually, I just better check that I have everything. Here, that. You can name it anything you want, but for when I go through this, I'm going to be referring to it as assay. So it might make sense for you to keep it the same name. But like I said, you can kind of do anything that you want. Yeah. Can you guys read that too, if you can? But once again, too, if I want to make sure that I have my exact file name that I want, I'll usually bring up my file explorer. I'm like, oh, that's the Excel sheet I want. And I will copy and paste the name of it. So I make sure that I get the right one. And then just add that .xlsx. Okay, everybody good? Okay, we'll give 20 more seconds. And this is, so if you guys are having an issue, please let me know. Anybody on Zoom, this is very important. To be honest, like I struggled for the first while of trying to like learn R. This is honestly like one of the biggest hurdles is just trying to bring in the data frame that you want. You know, you have to recognize that it is an Excel sheet, not a comma separated sheet. You know, if it was, we'd have to use the read CSV or any other type of data file formats, I guess. And also it's very nice. I always, you know, I mentioned the other week that you can also go into an import data set here and go from Excel to read it in. However, you know, a lot of times I'm writing this code and there's been times I started code back in 2020, right? And so when I open that file path up, I forgot where the sheet was or some other things. So documenting, you know, what the file path is and what the sheet, the file name is and what the sheet name is will really help you as you kind of move down the line or you know you're doing other things. So I highly recommend explicitly writing this out and having it in your code rather than doing these shortcuts. Okay, well, you guys get that. I'm going to show a few different things. So we have assay loaded in now, and we can double check it by either going into our environment and looking at our data frame, you know, here, or there's a few different arguments we can use. So we can use this head argument. So we're going to say head assay, and that's going to just show us the first couple lines of our data frame. So, you know, we can see that we have year, soil treatment. We can also use this summary argument. Now this is going to show us kind of everything here. So year, it's reading it as a number or as numeric. So it's just kind of showing us min, mean, max. And then also kind of some things here. So AF root rod index are minimum, medium, maximum, things like that. And then finally, we can look at this. We use this string argument, and this will display the structure of the data very similar to what we see up in our environment. So almost exactly what we see in our environment there.
I'll change it. So the assay read itself, it just it keeps giving error.
And what is it?
Use your zero as variable name.
And you have your you have your working directory set?
I set it through session. You need to set it at C.
I would just double check. H drive.
This is the way.
This says that library and everything we have in this file.
There's just a couple times.
I know, but why is it? Why? Read Excel. Do you not have read Excel installed?
I checked that. I did it twice because it didn't give me a confirmation.
Yeah, what the heck?
Um,
Read Excel.
hmm.
So, if you guys can hear me on my computer, sometimes, here, I'm just gonna show you. Go up to section on your top left. I don't know why. Sometimes this does this to me. I'm just gonna go up to session and we are gonna restart R. Sometimes that helps. I don't know why. Sometimes I get some weird errors that just don't make sense. Now, once we restarted, we have to reload in our packages.
You can just go into that chunk and hit control enter, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So you
weird.
just create a new session.
Here, attempt to use. Why is it doing that? Control. Is she getting an error too?
No, we just can't find it.
Oh,
But it's weird because it is on her computer,
it's
but
on desktop. Not in any document. So once again, we've talked about that, Amira. Try to make sure that you're navigating or saving things in your documents where you can organize them.
no, it isn't. It
Really?
isn't, but yeah,
Huh, weird.
but then when you look at it on ours.
Oh, well.
um,
Yeah, it's supposed to be on. I'm just curious. This shouldn't be. Okay, we're gonna just do that. We're gonna reinstall. Install package with. Oops. It's something else. So weird.
I was creating a markdown. You can get that.
Yeah. You can change it.
Mhm.
Okay. Now I got up. Yeah, I have no idea what was going on.
You broke it, Mike.
Oh, you know why? So we have, wait, so I don't know what's going on here. There, so
Oh.
whatever reason, yeah, that's like for, I don't know
Yeah, 'cause
why.
I forgot to create a chunk for that.
No, it was just, yeah, it was reading it, so it was messing up all the different chunks. So now this one should, okay, we're back. Okay, sorry for the delay.
I did it in a different way and it worked.
Yeah,
So I don't know why. Essentially, instead of doing it through here when you set working directories.
It's not a coding workshop unless somebody breaks.
Recording that one. All because, yeah, there wasn't space.
okay, so I guess while we're still working, Danielle and Yoakum, are you able to get in your assay, this worksheet, hopefully?
Yeah.
Yep, it's working for me.
I tried doing this without creating a chunk. It's not
And you
working.
want to change
This space
not
is
to the
like
bucket.
four
And
spaces.
then, so I'm gonna, is this where you're gonna do your, what do you want to do? Yeah, we will.
Actually,
And I was able to rerun that, say, read Excel.
okay, so Mike's got it. And actually, I'm sorry, Danielle, I saw that you unmuted and I did not hear you. I'm gonna test, just making sure my speaker's working. Okay. Okay. Fine. So hopefully you guys have this all done. And like I said, you can use like this head or summary or string function just to kind of double check some stuff. So, and as a reminder, so if you want to just double check this and you didn't want it to actually show up in your final rendering or when you knit, once again, you can always do that down in your console pane. You can write down here. If you're just double checking super fast, you can just have it down there as well. So now we're finally going to introduce factors. So when we run this string, you can see how we have numbers and characters, but we do not have factors. So a factor is a data structure to use to represent distinct categories or levels. So most often they're things like treatments, varieties, or replications in your experiments. Then there's a couple ways we can do this, and we'll just kind of continue on here. So, and actually, as a reminder, we're going to use this $sign function. So when you type in assay and $sign, now we're designating into one of our columns. And so I want to make our replication a factor, right? So because it's a distinct level that we see throughout every treatment. So we're going to say assay, just our replication column, and we're going to assign that as factor. And then we're just going to rewrite that right over the top of that column. So once I run this assay, now we look down here and we can see that our replication is now a factor with 6 levels. I'm just going to keep going. There's a few different things we can do. You just take your time, Sarah. I'll kind of get going here so they can have time. There's a few different ways you can do this now too. So the as factor just simply coerces everything into a factor. And it automatically identifies those unique categories. But you can also do, let's do this for treatment. Yeah, we can use just this factor. And we're going to do the same thing, assay, treatment. But now we have the option to actually designate our levels. So we're going to say within there, we have one called cab, for the seed treatment cabina, and one called tot for the seed treatment tachagaran. And then we can actually, at this point, change the label. So if we wanted to make this look nice, we can capitalize it, make it look, spell it all the way out, and tachagaran. There. So now when we look here, we have a treatment with 2 factor levels, and it's changed the name of everything. So, with presentations and things like that, you might want it to make it look a little bit better. This is where you do that. And then finally, I should say, be advised, I say levels and labels need to have the same length and order. Also, when you do this factor on numbers, or everything will appear alphabetically, right? So it doesn't matter how I'm dictating this. When we run our figures and things like that, it will appear alphabetically, including numbers. So if you did this to a number, it would now go from 1, then 10, and then 2, 3, so on, right? So you get that odd ordering. So you have to be careful when using this. So there's another one we can do where we're going to do that with year, and we're going to say ordered. Assay year levels 2023. And I want to make sure it goes to 2024, 2023. Make those because we're making it a factor, not necessarily a number. Labels.
After that assay treatment factor stuff.
Yep.
Will you notice and see a change? I assume.
You should see it in your environment here. So you see how treatment changed to factor, rep changed to factor. And then we can also double check that using the string or head function as well. Could not find ordered. Or am I not spelling that right?
Right now, it wasn't before.
Error in fact. Unused arguments. Oh, labels is spelled wrong. Labels, there we go. So, once again, minimize your typos. Okay. Chat, feel free. Oh, thanks, Sam. Yeah, once again, Yoakum, Danielle, if you have questions, do go in the chat. Sam's watching. And then I'll just do this again. Head A. Okay, so now you can say that we have factor, factor, ordered factor. Okay. Would you like help getting set up? No, I don't know. You're just fine.
Is this where you can
What, like change your names and things?
say
Oh, okay.
you paste, but you can't? 'Cause
You kind of can. So what I also will do this too. So if I have, let's say I open up my actual Excel sheet, there'll be a lot of times like where I have time series data and I have like 12 different days or something. So here's this. I will sometimes just go and highlight, copy that, and then just copy those into here. And then, oops, add my quotation marks and commas to separate it out. I know. Yeah, so if it's just highlighted and you click your quotation mark, it automatically knows just to end quotation marks.
Do you have something above assay?
Yeah. Sorry, let me,
Oh, no, then I'm good. Never mind.
I'm just, yeah, right now we just set working directory,
Yeah, we got that.
okay? We went through this head summary string thing.
Okay, good. You had everything. Ooh, now I'm just
Control.
typing into one
Yeah.
thing.
Control.
Well, essentially,
You can't hit enter and then control.
you did set working directory.
Your cursor has to be right
So
after
I'm
your,
basically.
No, you can be within it,
so it can be,
as long as you just control enter within it. Because we'll get to this later where we start, this is gonna be probably to the end, we're gonna start piping things. So you take one thing and then pipe it directly into the next, into the next, into the next. So no matter where you are within there, it will do it all sequentially.
And it says, oh,
you're gonna be continuing on doing it
and
all.
that is.
Yeah, we can. We can make a new chunk here. Yeah, let's make an, yeah, so at this point, we have our data set up. And we're actually gonna finally make a box plot. Okay, let's make a new chunk here. I'm gonna label it box plot.
Comes in effect, you know, sometimes I'll have like 14 DPI. And I want it treated as a factor and not a number. It's 14. It's like, oh, that's a number. And I'm like, please don't do that.
So actually, Sam just brought up a very good point. We'll maybe get into this later. So we're talking about the factors and labeling too. So you might notice here, I have days after planting 6. Now, for the most part, you can get away with having just the number. So just having 6, 14, 21, 28. But the computer, depending on what you're doing, it can cause a lot of issues. I typically never start my column with a number or only have a number. It can really mess things up later on. So this is just something that I've done and kind of a habit of mine where I'm always starting with a letter. And you also see I'm not using any spaces, right? So not starting with a number and not using spaces will really help you down the line.
To explain just real quick, when we did the assay treatment factor and then order not, we were creating the column headers.
Yeah, so we're recreating it. Actually, Mike was just kind of making sure. So right now we're saying, look in assay and look at the column year. And then we're overwriting that as an order. So if I wanted to keep it as the same, I could make, I'm going to do this a little. I'm going to copy and paste all of this. If I wanted to, I could say this is treatment. And if I run that, you're going to see that now it created an entirely new column, right? So if you don't want to overwrite something or you want to create a different one, let's say, this is going to be I'm gonna kind of go down into this a little bit. Nah, never mind. I'm not gonna go right now. We got a long ways to go.
So you're telling it to, hey, create this column.
Yeah, we're saying,
And then within treatment, you have. the assay treatment number.
treatment, TRMT? Or what? What are you?
I was just wondering what assay actually meant.
Oh, so yeah, so sorry. That was, so this, all this data stuff was a soil assay we just conducted in the greenhouse. So I'm just calling it assay. That's how you can name it anything you want. Yeah, but I'm just calling it assay. You can call it trial. You can call it today. You can name it anything you want. Just make sure it's descriptive enough. We might be changing some things.
Code.
Yeah.
No, so the assay is just whatever I want it to say. Because it's a soil assay. Okay. While you guys are doing that, we're finally gonna make a box plot. We're gonna use ggplot2. Now this package was loaded in with your tidyverse package, but you can also load this in separately. So the package itself is called ggplot2. I'll just write that, ggplot2. So what do I say here? So I'm gonna say, let's make our first figure. We'll use this package to compare. We just want to compare the total root rot index among the different soil and treatment, right? And we want to make a box plot. I like making box plots. It shows the distribution and the data. So the first thing we have to do is a ggplot with an open parenthesis. Now this is just initializing the plot. Just so you guys can, I'll just go. And then we're going to say data. We're going to take wherever we're taking our data from is our data frame called assay. So that just specifies the data frame containing the variables that we want to be plotted. Now we're going to do comma. And I'm just going to go down just so it looks a little better for you guys. You can stay on the same line if you want. And now we're going to do this function or this argument AES. So this says construct aesthetics. So these are the aesthetics mapped to specific variables. So here is where I say on the x-axis, I want my soil. And on the y-axis, I want total root rot index. So just go ahead and, run that. Yeah, it has soil and climax here. It has total root rot, but we don't know what type of structure we want to put here. Do we want to put a bar plot? Do we want to put a box plot? Does it want a line plot? We don't know yet. So now we're going to use this plus operator. This plus operator is used for adding those additional layers, and it allows you to build up some very complex plots just step by step, right? So we do one, then we're going to add to it and keep adding to it. So here's where I can just simply put geom box plot, close parentheses, and there we go. So those are our first figures. It now knows to create a box plot using those aesthetics.
When I type in ggplot, I get ggplot2.
So that's the package. So GG
function is
you have tidyverse loaded in? Thank you, Sam.
Move your hand. You don't,
I'm not too tease yet. Oh,
but it should be checked also.
Could we do that one on Tuesday? Whichever one works with that. Tidyverse, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, tidyverse just has a bunch of things, like it's just an easy way to load in a bunch of different things.
Okay, I can check in the packages to scroll
Okay.
down.
While we're doing that, for Danielle and Joachim, if you guys want, we can add in a few more things too. So within the, actually, never mind, I'll wait so people can hear.
thank you.
Okay. So you see our box,
Hold up the frame.
did you put G on box plot yet?
I don't think so.
Okay. So here's where you also can do like geom column or geom bar or violin plots. I will try to send a Let's I'll just try to bring it up really quick. There's
Or
yeah, don't like that. Is it in posit the ggplot visualization? Okay, so there's a lot of different things. I'm sorry, this is gonna be kind of messy. So here's just this R graph gallery. So we can make, oh shoot, violin charts. Sorry, I'm going back and forth. You know, we can make kind of like histograms or frequency. We can make a lot of different things, scatter plots, heat maps, you know, size charts. We can make columns, a lot of this other things. We can make word plots. We can make our bar plots kind of look like this, the radial plots. I can't remember what these ones are called. You know, and then we can make even like dendrograms, filled in line plots. We can make maps. So, you know, if you find this, you can look into it. So if we want to make a cartogram of a map, most basic chloropleth maps, you can kind of go in here and really start to build some really complex stuff. But we'll get to that a little later. So once again, my main goal is for everybody to get comfortable with this type of syntax so you can follow those other tutorials on your own. Yes. Oh, yeah, I just Googled, what did I Google? ggplot visualizations. Yeah. Create elegant
AES again.
aesthetics. Yes. Yes.
Why did it not bring
Oops.
in any difference?
Well, because it didn't know what type of visualization you wanted, right? It didn't know if you wanted a bar or a box plot. So you're not creating that structure yet. I lost my notes. Okay. So within geom box plot, now this is where we can do some other things. So let's say I wanted to change the width of my plot. I want to make it a quarter of the size. Now it's going to make them much more narrow. Well, let's say I wanted to change the outline, the color of the outlines to dark blue. That's where we can change the color of there. Let's say I wanted to make it the outline a little see-through. This is going to make more sense if I do it very close together. Oh no, never mind. We won't get into that. Dark blue. Things like this. I don't think I can do it here. Bill equals. Don't follow along to this part. I'm just seeing if this works or not. Okay, see, that didn't work. So we cut that. This is what I originally had. So back in our aesthetics, say I wanted to visualize our treatment as well, we need to designate that we want to fill our structure with treatment. Oh, let's not do that.
Oh,
There we go. Nope, we don't want to do quotations. It just then that reads it as now it's separated out. So by fill, separated out our IMAX soil between our two different treatments and our pearly soil. Yes.
Why just simply putting in fill equal treatment did it separate them out?
Oh. Because you're designating that you want to, like even on the x-axis, so our x-axis is climax, we have factors within our treatment there, or within our soil, and we're saying we want to separate it out by the color for treatment. So we're going to keep building on that. We also have two different years here. So we can use what's called facet wrap or facet grid. Let's just do facet wrap. And we are going to designate with this tilde that we want to separate by year. And actually, we'll do a few different ones. And We'll just see what happens when we do that. So I did the plus, adding in facet wrap year. Now it separates it out between the 2 years, 2024 and 2023. And once again, 2024 is coming first because I designated that in our ordered function. While you guys are doing that, I'm gonna delete out this fill. And we could also put that fill here or treatment here as well.
Oh,
Actually, let's do it different. We'll do facet grid now. Yeah, facet wrap or facet grid. So facet wrap usually stays on the same line. Facet grid makes a grid.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
What's up? I did the facet wrap and did not split it out.
Oh, we didn't do the plus, right? So we gotta keep building
Uh,
by saying plus facet.
so I'd have to facet wrap.
Well, so now this is a separate one. So this next column that I made, I know, I'm sorry. This next one that I made, I ended up removing the fill treatment. And instead I put treatment down here in facet grid. And now we just have a separate box plot for each combination of year, seed treatment, and soil. It's a little more difficult to see it, but the reason I wanted to show you this is with this tilde here, essentially this is separating out whatever's on treatment or whatever in the front will be your rows and whatever on the back end will be your columns. So it's row by column is essentially what that's saying.
All I do is copy and paste these, added in grid and treatment.
Yeah, yeah. So while you guys are kind of doing that, I'm gonna start typing here. We can also add quite a few more things. I like this first one, so you guys can just keep adding on to the one that you created as well. I just want to have this so it's all separated. I want to change the labels now, right? So let's say I run all of this, right? Well, what is total RRI? That's kind of funny. So I'm going to say lab. So I did my plus sign. I'm going to now say labs for labels. I want my x-axis to read as soil location. I want my y-axis to say total root rot index. I want to title it. Let's put a title there. Oops, sorry. Root rot indices of disease nursery soils. Oops, and one more. Oh, this is very important. The fill here is going to change our legend title.
Okay.
So that is the easiest way to be changing your labels. And just as a reminder, as you're filling this out, once again, our fill up here is designated as treatment. And so when we say labels or our fill label would be equivalent to that legend title.
We just added.
Yep. So that's where all your labels come from, right? So if you want to change your labels, just make it look a little bit better. Really? The labels?
If I hit control enter, and you can do that. It doesn't change anything there.
Oh, maybe.
No, have you done that?
Oh, so all you have to
Yeah.
do is just make sure you add up here your plus sign,
Oh.
right? Because we want to add every bit by bit.
Okay.
And also, or you can also just press the play button. There we go. So now we have all the things. Yeah.
We copy and pasted that. And then ran it again, so got rid of it.
Yeah, sorry. I was just doing that facet grid just to show you.
Okay.
It makes it a lot easier to visualize that column by row.
I could change it like
Mm.
that.
Mm.
And get rid
Does
of
that
it.
always mean, you said the bill equals seed treatment, that bill
Yes.
is always the team title?
Well, so it depends. So we'll get to it. Yeah, it depends on what this is.
Okay.
Actually, I'll show.
Oh,
I'll
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say, here I put color as dark blue. I could also change this. We're gonna say color equals treatment, just so you can see.
Maybe that's,
Will even work.
yeah.
Okay. So when I said color was the outline of the box plot, not the fill. So now it switched. So once again, here was our old one where we filled in the middle
Oh, yeah.
and we had dark blue as the color. Here we're saying, I want the fill to just stay white and I want the color, so the outline, to be treatment. So now that color is designated as treatment, fill has no meaning anymore. So we have to change this then to color equals seed treatment. Color and fill are not interchangeable.
So color is the outline.
Yes.
Probably have to rewrite the color.
And once again, you can also do that right here. So color is outline. Fill is inside of box plot.
You have it.
Yeah.
This is just it's called the cheat sheet, so it just has, but for box plots, you can make it alpha, which is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See through.
Yeah.
You're
the
kind of like.
secret is You could make it colored, you can get fill, you can make it shape, you can make it size, like all of those things, which is helpful when you have like a ton of variables. Sometimes I want like a plot with a lot of things, and so it'll be like, size is based off of frequency, but color is based off of the you can add like multiple things. That's just if you have like a really complicated,
Yeah.
exactly. So I did a plot where I had color, I faceted, but then also size is based off of 70% color. And then shape was also just to make it more like readable.
Yeah.
So like at a glance, we go, oh, that's huge, that means this. And so it's really.
Yeah.
So there's
Yes,
like,
that's right.
that's the nice thing about ggplot is it's so customizable that you can make your data like that. The goal is for that someone can read the plot and you don't have to stand there and explain it to them.
Mhm.
So
You can add
could
so many
add-
different
You
things.
you can add so many layers that then it becomes confusing. But if you have a lot of variables that you want to strong
Okay.
line, you can like factors, and you can do it for like all of the others.
So let's, hopefully you guys are, James, are you doing okay over there? I haven't heard anything from you. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna start typing here. We'll just do this first one. We can also change the overall theme of everything. We have all these different themes here. Let's just change it to theme BW. So, I mean, it didn't really change too much. It just changed the background a little bit there. Yeah, I like to do these themes. So like theme classic. Just like removes a lot of stuff.
Which one do you want to do?
I like theme BW. I don't know what that stands for. Black, white. Or you can just do theme, let's do theme light. Is there any difference? Oh,
We did dark mode.
is there a theme dark?
Oh my God.
I do not like that.
I don't either.
I do not like that.
There's totally different options.
I'm getting there.
That looks bad.
I'm on the cheat sheet.
Oh, okay.
All these offhand.
Yes, yeah, always use a
Oh,
plus
yeah.
sign to keep adding in.
I did that.
We have really long code for plus with a lot of pluses. We'll be
So
like,
when you
plus
want
to
to
add
change,
in one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can
Just-
layer things over and over again. You can do like, I want you to color based off of group identity.
Ooh.
Is
Like,
this
you can
the
do
default, like just gray?
Yeah, if you don't designate your theme,
You don't just do that one.
yeah, I'll just do that one. So I don't know what the default is. I wonder if there is a theme default. No, I have no idea. Okay, and actually, so Sam was making a very important point that, you know, we are layering at this point, and it is all sequential. So if I now did lab x equal, am I at caps lock on? Oh, there we go. X equal soils. Whoops. It's now going to overwrite what I previously did. So like, you know, I added this in, but now I'm overwriting it because everything is done sequentially. You know, I keep adding in these layers. So also be mindful of that.
what was the change? Like delete what you.
Oh, soil. So my x-axis, right? So my label was soil location, and now I just overwrote that to be soils. So that's what you can just, it's just overwriting and layering on top of things, but
Sometimes they'll tell you, they'll get a warning that's like.
already
just put
stated.
This one after this one, I think that's what the wording is, it'll be like, yeah, already has
Yeah,
something, so like sometimes order matters. But
Mm.
sometimes it doesn't.
and
So you might just end up, I just end up like moving stuff around sometimes. Like, why did this line, why
Yeah.
did this thing I just added, like change the font at all? Oh, let me try putting it earlier in the list of things. Oh, now it works. So
Yeah.
sometimes they'll overlap each other, but
So-
that's only if you end up with a plot that's like a lot.
So I don't know if Danielle or Yoko, if you guys can hear Sam. We're just going on this whole layering aspect. In certain instances, the order does matter. And so if you have something before another, it can create an error, or it will just ignore what you tried to set. So in certain instances, order is very important on how you layer your plot. I've had that, I can't remember why. I've had that happen a couple of times too,
It's
where,
just like theme.
yeah.
Weirdly, it's not usually
So-
other stuff. If you can usually layer having in a color over a fill, like those kinds of things work in tandem, but it's usually something to do with the theme. You want to change like font size.
Yeah. So that's actually exactly where we're going.
Oh.
Yeah,
what?
so good segue. We're gonna add in a lot more theme changes. So let's say I wanted to change the overall look of my text. I'm gonna say theme. So within our theme, I want to change
Don't
text.
forget the plus sign.
Don't forget the plus sign, according to Mike. And then we have to designate that we are looking at the element text. Kind of redundant, but you have to have it. And I want to change the size to font, like a size 15. So it made all my labels a little bit bigger. Okay, let's say I want to make it, oops. In here, let's say I want to make it bold. Now we made them bold. Let's say we want to, ooh, let's change the color. Let's change the color here too. I wonder if we can do that. Ah, no, that's not a color. You can really get pretty nitpicky.
Examples.
Sorry.
So weirdly specific, it'll be like light grayish purple, and then.
No way. Okay,
If you go on a
cyan's not a good color.
number, it doesn't always work as well, because like dark, everyone's like, dark gray 1 is lighter than dark gray 8 or something, so.
Can I do like a pine tree view?
I don't know, maybe. Just try pine.
There's a website that I also can share that are, will give you like the hex code.
Oh, yeah.
And you put those in exactly, so I actually found, well, I was told by the website that it's like a Pantone like color matching thing, and then you can just copy paste all of the hex code. I will send that to you on Google.
No,
Cool.
there's not pine.
Yeah, so, and like, so Sam is mentioning, if you really want to get nitpicky with your colors, you can also designate the hex codes here.
Very simple, cheap shortcut undoing.
Oh, so the Control Z is undo. That's actually a good point. So yeah, Control Z, just like normal, is your undo shortcut. But to redo is actually Control Shift Z. So undo is Control Z, redo is Control Shift Z. So a little bit different than Word. All right, so now you see that we didn't really change any colors for our axes
Yeah.
titles. So that's a different one. So text was text. Now we're gonna specify axis text, and we can specify all axes text, or we can specify just the x-axis.
Is there a reason why you drop in the middle of those two parentheses? Okay.
Yeah, so we're still in theme, right? So we still want to be in theme. So we're saying in the theme, I want to change text, and within general text, this is what we're doing. Within the x-axis text.
Get the rainbow parentheses.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Yeah.
That would help.
I went through like so many different things. I just like, is there a way to have the color, but then only do the rainbow text?
It's a separate thing. It's a separate thing to check.
Like a package?
No, it's on display, but it doesn't impact your other.
What do you mean? Is it in like some options?
I think it's in code.
There it is, very bottom one.
Use rainbow parentheses. Nice. Okay, hopefully that one.
So that way.
All right.
It's rental or it's not that thing.
And hopefully you guys can see it. That's what I was just afraid of, is all these colors are hard to see on a screen like this, but
Don't see even on.
yeah.
I think kind of helps once you add more.
There's one of them, like all the comments were like such a light color, like you couldn't read anything. There's so many different things. Okay, so we're in element text here, and we're in the x-axis. Let's say I want to make my x-axis much smaller. Let's go 10. So we're making our size 10. Let's make these ones italic, right? So we can also italic. And let's make this color. Anybody got a color? You're gonna hate me. Go red. I know. Great. So now we made our x-axis red and italics.
You can also change it so the axes labels are like different angles,
Ooh.
like they're up and down, or they're at a slant, or I. like
Yeah,
to
let's do that.
Shift them so they're like alternating.
So we can also designate, yeah, let's say if I want to put my climax pearl at a 45-degree angle. Oh, that's weird. It's overlapping, right?
Yeah.
So now we have to do, we can change our horizontal adjustment to center it, and we can make our vertical adjustment. I can't remember. Sometimes it gets confusing.
And be fun.
Yeah, it's a guess and check game at this point. Okay, I didn't change it.
You can also.
I'm just gonna leave my.
There we go.
I'm gonna leave mine.
Oh, but can we go back on, what did that do, bring that bottom?
Actually, that's exactly what it was. So it's saying the vertical adjustment was centered and horizontal adjustment centered. Or I set it at 1, so that's actually 1. So let's say I do this as 0. Now it's way down here.
I just picked up on something. If you want to do double quotations, you can do shift. I think we talked about this on Tuesday. Shift is double quotation, so when it pulls it up and just type it in it. So I was having to go back, double click, and then do the quotation thing. So like if I.
Well, even if you just do the 1 quotation and then start typing.
Give you the second one, but not all.
Oh, sure. Okay.
It doesn't always not have it, I know.
Okay, so there's still a lot more stuff we can do. I really like, sometimes I want to remove, like, let's say I don't want soil location on there. It's kind of self-explanatory. We're going to do axis title on the x-axis, and we're just going to say element blank. No, we're still in theme. So see how I have that parenthesis? We're still in theme at this point. So we've built our figure, and now we're just doing all of our different themes here. So element blank just removes a specific aspect. I'm gonna just keep going. Let's say our plot title. Let's say I want to center my plot title. Plot title. Element text. H just so horizontal adjustment equals centered 0.5. There. So kind of moved it over, centered it above my figure there. I'm just gonna keep going here. So now, and actually at this point, we can even do some things with our legend. So let's say I want my legend. You know, we can do a lot of different things. Legend margins, spacings. I want position, legend position. I want to put that on the bottom. I don't like it on the top. There. So now my legend is down on the bottom. Let's keep going. What else do I got? We can change our legend background. Let's say I want to do, and at this point, since the background is not text, right? So we're saying element, I don't know what rect stands for. Borders and backgrounds is what that's for. So you can kind of see here. So element text, adjust your text. Element lines, adjust your lines. Rect is the borders and backgrounds. Blank is nothing. So we want to do rect.
Oh, rectangle.
Sure. Color black. So that's the outline. Remember, color is the outline. Fill is the actual fill. Let's say light gray. And line width. We want to make that a super thick border. Let's go super thick. Yeah, so yeah, these this is all examples. This would never be something that you'd want to present. That's for sure. What are you trying to say?
Spending like 3 hours though, just slightly moving like your title over half an inch. Like this thing really
Yeah.
so much. You can also change the like intervals of the axis for the root rot index.
I will say-
want.
You can't do that in theme, can you? I don't think it's in theme. So I think we'll get to that a little bit later. And then because that's like way down the line, I'll also talk about using a scales package. We can make log scales or transform your scales or do a lot of different things, you know, break your axes and things like that. So last one, plot background. These are just a main one. Once again, element blank, oh no, element rect. Why did I do that? And let's say I want to do color. This is just going to create a background.
I'm getting an unexpected comma in title.people.
Now that just made a black background around the back. Ooh, let's change the line width on that one.
Yeah, and then when I remove the comma, then it just says.
Cool. That was just our background. At this point, too, for everybody, let's say I wanted to copy and paste this. All you have to do is click export. And I like to you can save it as an image or PDF, or if you just want to copy it, copy to your clipboard and change the size that you want. Usually 800 by 400, you know, is a good size. I have some really weird ones, like I'll do like 1450, 7. I can't even do that with this monitor. It kind of takes in adjustments to get it at presentation sizes and things like that. 800 by 400 usually looks good on a Word document. We can just copy plot. That's going to be on our clipboard. We can just go ahead and copy and paste that in your Microsoft document or whatever else you want. Well, actually, whatever you do your export as is going to be the size that your bottom right quadrant is set as. So it's going to stay that size.
Progressing, do you
No, you're good. So now, so Mike, so you see, I made this bigger. Now when I do copy to clipboard, it now made it the same size that this was set as. So. But yeah, I honestly want to say it's something weird. It's like 750, 375 is really what will really look good in a no Microsoft document. PowerPoint is like double this size. I always do like 1450 something.
I would do export, save as image, and then that way, because then it's an inch.
Yeah. Well, really? Well, oh, you actually do the save as image? No, what do you mean?
Oh, on mine it's an inch.
How do you do that?
Image form,
Oh, a JPEG?
that's the one.
Maybe you just have it on a settings too. So we'll get into it too. There's some different things where we're going to load in a different package later on. And you can just save it directly there. It's like GG save. You can save it as a TIFF. And the exact millimeters, inches, whatever you want. So a lot of times like manuscript preparation, I mean, they will give you explicit guidelines saying, no bigger than this or that. They'll also give you, what does DPI stand for? Displayed pixel index something. So you can make it really high resolution too. So that's where you can designate like HD type resolution or, things like that.
Save as PDF in
Ooh.
image. I did save as
Oh, look at
image,
that.
and I got your pop-up, and I was like, you broke it. So that also lets you, like, it's good also to change the file name, make sure you're saving.
Oh,
where you want.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
If I'm saving it, I'm making a PowerPoint, I'll just put it on my desktop.
Oh, I'll just do it in downloads and then just like delete it all.
And then I'll move it later, but
Yeah.
I know,
That's cool.
a lot of plots that are named as barplots.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, because right now what she's saying is you're if you go to export, save as PDF, you can change in inches, portrait, landscape. This is where the file you're saving it to, and then this is the name of that image that you're saving. So just be careful not to name them all barplot.
Yeah, you'll just end up with an barplot in like every single folder you've ever
Yeah.
made. So I try to be really restrictive. That way, at least you can kind of really open up the image to see what it is.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you got in it, Sally.
Hey. Okay, what time do we got? 11 o'clock again. Okay, everybody, oh, DPI dots per inch, printer accuracy. Thank you, Yoakum. You have a lot of interesting.
Yes, but then
I
I
know,
just
right?
thought maybe I made it up.
It seems too intuitive to be dots per inch. I think, it's 11:10. Let's go ahead and take a good 5-10 minute break. And before we get into a little bit more complex stuff here. So
I got a notification from Phil that I've got a credit change in my name.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully good.
No, it's saying that someone is trying to do something.
Well, there was one time I was on okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and stop sharing or stop recording here. We will pick back up a little after 11:15. That's okay. Let me. Thank you so much. Okay, I guess I forgot to keep recording. Essentially what we are doing, I explained the difference between wide and long format. So essentially wide format is when the data is arranged with multiple variables as columns, and long format is when data is arranged as a key value pair. So this format structure allows for much more flexibility in analysis and visualization, and especially accommodate the number of measurements, like time series measurements as well. So to do this, we're using this package or this argument pivot longer, and we are going to make a new data frame, calling it assay long, so it's in the long format. We're going to use pivot longer, taking our data from our assay data frame, and we're going to take the columns that are named total root rot, AF root rot, Rhizoctonia root rot, and make them into a new column named root rot index type, and the values will get assigned to a new column called index value. And then just to help us, and also just reiterating that ordered and factor aspect, we're going to take our new data frame and our new column, and we are going to order that, make it an ordered factor with the levels being total root rot, AF, and rise root rot, and then labeling them a little bit cleaner of labels. You guys good-ish? Okay. Now that we have this, we can look at our, so really quick, I'm going to show our assay. So we had total root rot as columns here. And now we're going to look at our long format. I don't know why that's there. So now we do not have our total root rot as columns, but now we have them as individual variables within our soil and treatment columns. And then this is what I mean by a key and a value pair. With this, now we can start to integrate a little bit more complex plots. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do ggplot. We're going to take our new data frame. Oops, data equals assay long. And our aesthetic, we are going to put X. We want our X-axis now to be root rot index type. Our Y now is called index value. And let's fill by treatment. Okay, and then we'll do that geom box plot. There. So now you can see how we are able to take all of that data and now get root rot index, or all of our different root rot index types on our x-axis. So we need to be able to, once again, manipulate that data to kind of coerce it into what we want to visualize.
Yeah.
Well, even
Yeah.
so, where are you trying to pivot longer to the GG box plot? So you got data. Did you run assay long and make sure everything looks okay with your assay long data?
Yeah. That's all. You have it up on the screen, it looks on
Okay, hopefully.
Again.
Maybe you want to check Mike too. Okay. Once again, we can also learn what we used in our other and what we did before. You know, we can say, oops, we can facet grid by year by soil. You know, now we get all separated out for everything here. You know, and we can also do all those other things that we did before. We can change our labels, we can change our themes, change everything else. But mainly what I want to show is just how to utilize that pivot longer to get the data where you need it to be. Make it a little. So let's get rid of that. So I guess I'm just thinking, you know, maybe, well, some people are doing it. What are some other examples? So like Danielle, Yoka, maybe this might be one where you have like your total FHB rating, and then you also want to compare your Dawn scores directly adjacent to it. I don't know, what are some other metrics you may want to have all for, you know, one location or one treatment like that?
That one would work, FHB and
Okay, so here you have
Done.
two. So you could do is. pull it up
volume
so you
lock.
can check, or when you're writing it, you can get it.
Yeah, can you do it?
You won't have a. You say, please tell me file on, oh yeah, this is right. You hit the wrong one, but, you have to say what file to open,
Mhm.
but then you can decide.
There we go. What about you? What type of like data do you guys get? Heidi made a comment about that. She was like, well, you know, what type of, like you have replicated data,
Yeah.
right? So you have like a treatment, replicate, like replicate,
Don't do that.
Yeah,
replicate within treatments, you know, and then different, let's say you had, you know, water quality and I don't know, air quality of a specific area.
Yeah, we could have that. We have some plots where we have like cover crop biomass compared to the sugar beet,
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, okay, so you do have kind of that structured
Yeah.
area.
definitely.
So we're gonna get into it. Hopefully, it's kind of one of the later ones I have. We're gonna do it, we'll load in another package, but we're also gonna do line plots. So this pivot longer is really important for doing like time series, right? So if you had, let's say, biomass over time, you need to use this pivot longer to make a figure like that. And we'll get into that, so. You doing okay, Sarah?
do you have yours set up? Like I typed in everything you have,
Yeah.
but I don't have a key that shows up now. Or it might have not seen that.
Hmm.
Where did that go?
Fill. Oh, you did
this
fill
one.
plus treatment. You know, fill equal
Oh.
treatment. Yeah, so it's all these like super little things.
And
There you
then-
go.
Oh, thank you. It really doesn't like when you don't capitalize things
Yeah,
either.
yeah. Really have to be careful. It can be a very big headache.
Layer one is missing still.
I don't know. Did you rename your soil to something else?
No. But I checked to make sure it's capitalized.
Do you have a plus different? Did you not do
I
the
put
plus
the-
into facet grid?
Oh, yeah, I did this. And then we tried it.
Does still always mean key? But
Still-
that's gonna
so
give
once
you
again-
whatever your key is,
Yes.
Essentially.
Well, yeah, so it's, you know, if you did fill, it's gonna be color coded, right? And so there's no way to know what color equals what without a legend.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just kind of, it will automatically come up anytime you use color, fill, shape, size, things like that. 'Cause yeah,
You used to get rid of it.
Yeah.
You're like, I just did the color for whatever reason, and no one else will know.
I think we should just do this. Other data real quick.
then you just dip out, be like, that's all I needed to know. Okay. So at this point, I think that really kind of concludes what I wanted to show with ggplot. I really want to show you guys what I'm most comfortable with. ggplot really helps you, and there's a lot of different things you can do, but there's another package called ggpubr. It's actually an extension package that takes plotting capabilities kind of to the next level. So ggpubr is designed to make it a lot easier to create complex and publication-ready plots, and also add some additional functionalities. So while ggplot2 is versatile and powerful plotting package for a wide range of tasks, ggpubr is just a convenient extension when the goal is to quickly generate aesthetically pleasing, publication-ready plots with minimal manual adjustments. That was a loaded sentence, but kind of explains why I like to use ggpubr.
Did you have some wrong with the graph? You should fix.
It's just that, okay, actually Mike made a big point. All my x-axes are kind of overlapping right now. There's a few different ways to do that, but what I like to do is when you make your labels, you do this \n. That is actually going to create an entirely new, it's going to create an enter. So think of \n as enter. I'm sorry to do this to you right now, but just to explain, so now we have it in 2 lines, so total root rot, aft root rot, rise root rot. So that's what that N does. And there is another one. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. Dodge.
There's 3 things, but
Actually, can you, yeah, is it scale? Do you have to do scale X, or how do you do the dodge?
Scale just X discrete, guys.
Scale X discrete. So this is how we change our X axes.
Down equals down axis.
So yeah, we're saying in our scale X, we're gonna guide axis and
Dodge
and dodge equals 2. So now we're gonna make that on 2 lines. So essentially this is saying on our X axis, we're gonna guide it. We're gonna guide our axes to make 2 separate lines. There we go. So now it's kind of dodging itself. So that's what that dodge means. You kind of have so instead of overlapping, now they're kind of all going.
It's a similar thing in bar plots where there's a position called dodge and it spaces them out. So
Yeah.
a lot of times ggplot tries to have like the same word mean the same thing, just in different contexts, I guess. And dodge always means space it out.
Yeah,
It
okay.
always means dodging. You don't have to be like this in this situation, I want to space them out and I need to use the word space. It's always, I want them to do that.
for some reason mine didn't. read it. That's why.
Oh, so yeah. So just to recap, there's a couple of different ways to approach this. It's either creating that second level within your label, or creating or guiding your legends to dodge themselves. So now we're dodging and creating 2 lines for that X axis. Okay, but like I mentioned, we're going to start loading in a couple different packages here for you guys. You will need to install. So we're going to do install packages, and we're going to do 2 different ones. Main one is ggpubr. And we're also, just to kind of load in some really neat color packages, we're going to do R color. Oops. How do I label that? Capital letters, makes big. R color brewer. Okay, so those are for you, and we'll also load those in. Cool. Brewer. Those are mainly what do I got here? So yeah, I talked quite a bit about R color or ggpubr. R color brewer, honestly, it's just it has some built-in palettes that are a little bit more colorblind friendly, and just kind of some nicer looking colors, so you don't have to manually change the colors of each box plot or things like that. So
I still understand on people. The names were changed from ACHR next to it.
and so just make sure that you have everything. Was it in that combine function? Make sure that you have levels, combine, have everything. Is matching exactly how you had it in your pivot longer.
Yeah.
And you're closing it out, creating your next levels. That is hard to read. I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna do that.
It's nice to see that it doesn't like change the color.
I know. Does yours?
No.
Oh, it
that
should.
color mix.
Yeah. Or when you upload it to Stack Overflow or something, and they have those color coding.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can just play the color brewer option.
It won't say nothing in there, will it?
No, there's like there's a line that you do to just like,
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I usually just Google it every time.
well, I just pulled it.
Okay. Okay.
It's display that's river.
Oh, Paul or Paul?
All.
Oh,
Oh, you have to zoom it out.
okay. So that's what's included with the R color brewer. I like to either use like the set 2 or 3 or this dark 2 are my favorite ones. Or you can do, I can't even read those.
It's only like yellow, orange, red, and then it's telling you
Yeah.
which one's yellow. And you can reverse the order of the colors,
Sure.
which I think was for a temperature scale. So like. because
Ooh,
one
nice.
Then I can match it up so that my colder temperatures for dark blue and my warmer temperatures.
Yeah.
Hey, there's your weather.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Happy time. Sometimes though, like, some of the houses are, there's pluses and minuses to our temperatures, but it's a pretty standard.
Yeah.
You don't have to then specify that you have like.
Or make your
colors
own.
that all need to be colored differently. It's annoying to have to personally come up with a color for each one. Well, the color palette does it for you and it picks those 12, and so you don't have to manually.
Another really good one. Veritas.
Do you want us to load that in?
Nah, that's just I'll have this when I send it out to you guys.
There's also one that is color palette based off of Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of
The Wes Anderson one then is like. That's pretty small. I think it's literally called like Wes Anderson, but then you the palette names are all like Manhattan, it's your fault. And so they like.
It's like it's after each, yeah, like.
Kingdom,
Yeah.
Or no, Grand Budapest was on it.
Yeah.
It had that thing in it.
Uh-huh.
But those are like, those are personal plots, because the colors are not super distinct, and so they're not plots I tend to like send out.
Yeah.
I want to make it. So if you Google our color palette, a lot of things will show up because people will just make it out of, like, for fun. There's a ton that people just do out of, like, for fun.
Yeah.
I think the color palette is like a perfect.
So hopefully everybody has ggpubr installed and loaded. And hopefully our color brewer. So we're just going to show how much easier this is. So I'm just going to say GG boxplot. And I also mentioned about kind of the numbers and letters, like column names. This actually will allow you to use numbers in your column names because we have to write everything in parentheses. So conversely to way up here where we're saying X equals soil, Y equals total root rot index. Now we actually have to designate X equals in parentheses root rot index. Type Y equals index. Oops, forgot my quotation marks. And let's do fill equals. Wait, man. Something not work. Oh, whoops. Sorry. No, don't. That was on my notes. This is supposed to be assay long. There we go.
I don't know.
What's that? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I confused everybody.
It was a pop quiz.
Yeah, exactly. Are you guys paying attention?
And if you know that had to complete is a helpful thing.
Yeah,
or do it possible.
Well, we just tested too much.
I guess so.
We both have and fail.
Can I go back and change my index value to a capital V and not?
Yes.
Yeah, you just gotta load it all in. So, just really quickly as an example, now that's all the line of code that you needed to make the same figure. That it took quite a bit of extra layering to do in ggplot. So this is just a really quick example. If I want to designate everything on one row, I can say n row 1 right behind there. Oh, whoops, why didn't I do that? Pass it by. N row 1. Maybe it won't. And column. I don't know why it's not letting me do that.
Parentheses supposed to be awesome.
What's that?
You got it? That's what it should be, right there.
Yeah, if you want to facet by both, if you, where?
That end call is not connected to anything.
Yeah, it's weird. You don't have to have it.
Oh, it's connected to ggplot, not within that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just really weird. You follow it by. So actually, let's just I'm gonna do a different one facet. We don't have to have it if we want to just do that. There we go.
Mm.
That's where I can do that end column 1, end column 2, makes it into the 2 columns.
So now let's get.
Why? Because you have the soil and the year. Oh yeah. So I am sorry to kind of change so fast on you guys. But these are slightly different than ggplot2, and it is a little bit different than that layering. But the really great thing is with everything you can do in ggboxplot, you can also add on everything you can do with ggplot, right? So all those label arguments, anything that you can do in ggplot, you can also do to a ggpubr argument, I guess. I don't know. And also I did mention, we have the R color brewer. In order to bring that in, we're going to say scale fill brewer. We're going to say, I want to grab the palette labeled dark 2. And now that's going to change all my colors based on that palette. Yeah. Yes, yeah, we've already gone through all of that. So
one thing I always find when copying spot from R is that you have to make them
yeah, because I'm making them all for paper sizes. And then so yeah, in order to do that, it's very straightforward. So in ggplot here, that's label. Yeah, so essentially it'd be the same exact thing as doing our so this is all of our ggpubr. And then we have to add in just like we would with ggplot. So we can still do our theme, we can still do our text, element text. This will change the size of everything. So that changes everything. Or if we want to just do axis X, or actually let's just do axis text. So that's just going to change our axes. Or if we just want to do just the x-axis. Oh, there's a space there.
Oh, the label. We just do
I know it's hard to say. Yeah, so essentially all that is within this theme argument, and you can specify exactly what points you want, either all of it or just certain points. And you can also change the color, bold, italics, anything else within theme.
Is that scale fill brewer not work until you restart?
So the scale fill brewer will only work if you loaded in your R color brewer package. So that's coming from that R color brewer. Oops. And
But then it never changed.
R color brewer, yeah, you have it. And then that came up, right? Yeah, okay, you have it loaded in. One more time. All you gotta do is just that plus button. Right, so we gotta do the plus button. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. So once again, it's all about layering. Okay. And we're already getting on. I'm just going to do this one really quick. So one reason I really like ggpubr is making bar plots. It makes it a much easier to do ggbarplot. We're going to do, let's just do almost everything exactly the same. Let's just do everything, just copy and paste that, except using ggbarplot on the front. What just happened? Oh, I have an extra. So that's showing every individual piece, right? And so the only difference here is that we also need to specify that we don't want the stack on each other. We want to add mean. Oops. Add not found. Oops, that's why. Boom. Okay, and now we still have the separated out, and this is where we're going to talk about that we were talking about dodging earlier, right? So we're going to say position, dodge 0.8. Oops. I want that in my, there we go. We can also make them dodge. I think if this makes it almost overlap some. You know, it's your position dodge, like say what Sam was mentioning earlier, is just kind of separate. So think of dodge as separate. We can also do this. Let's do mean standard deviation. Adds your standard deviation bars or standard error bars.
Where did you add that one?
So it's just all under ggbarplot. So I did add.
Standard deviation.
Yeah, here. Those are the two main differences. I'm going to be honest, doing bar plots is not as straightforward as one would think in ggplot 2.
Yeah.
It's so much
It's
easier.
very complicated.
Yeah, exactly. You have to actually summarize everything. ggpubr automatically does your standard error, standard deviation, makes it so much easier. And actually, you can even do statistics in ggpubr package. So it's as an extension, as your base statistics, you can add p-values, you can do comparisons, and eventually we'll get into it. We're going to do some correlation coefficients and things like that as well. But we're kind of running out of time again. Is there anything that anybody, any pressing questions that we need to answer immediately? Okay, so is everybody still looking at this? Did everybody get their bar plot figured out? Sarah, are you doing okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I am going to just pull up my notes here again. So finally we got to our ggpubr bar plot. You know, and I can send all this out. We can also add different labels and things like that. So add in labels. And then I also want to get into jittering, so jitter points between different years. So you can kind of visualize the spread of data a little bit better. We're also going to get into those line graphs, you know, for time series data type things. We're going to get into those correlation coefficients, how to add all these in, how to separate it out between different treatments. And then we're finally going to get into piping and creating tables. So creating tables can be streamlined with a couple different packages. You can also make them nice. Here's one where it's a little bit more interactive. And we're going to get into a lot more data manipulation using the package Dippler DPLYR. And then some other syntax and things like that. So we can do summarizing tables, creating a much bigger table, filtering out data, and other things like that. So like, and finally, here's one where I have them all combined with standard errors. And hopefully we'll even get into some stats to create some nice figure or nice tables. Sorry, there's so much going on. Where you can even add in your compact letter display and p-values and things like that. So that is what's up next. Let's see how far we can get. If you guys have anything, so I'm hoping that we can meet next Tuesday if it works with everybody's schedule, same time, same place. But if you have anything specific anybody wants to talk about, just let me know before maybe the end of the day tomorrow. That way I have the weekend to work on it. So hopefully you guys learned something a little bit more. Danielle, Joachim, you have anything? Need to have any questions before we end? Nope. Sounds good. Well, hopefully we can meet up. Hopefully you guys can also meet up on Tuesday and works out with everybody. So till then, Let me know if you have any questions in the meantime, and hopefully we'll see you Tuesday. So I'm gonna end recording.